Good afternoon, everybody. This picture was taken 13 years ago when the first such event as you participate today was organized. There were excellent, eminent scientists, including Tim in here. Well, let me show you what his contribution is to science. As you know, since you all study biology, cells know to divide at some point. So here it is. We start from a zygote, then 2 cells, 4 cells, 8 cells, and so on. And these cells keep repeating what they know how to do. This keep on repeating you can symbolize as a sort of a cell cycle in which cells function in this G1 stage. Then they make a decision and start preparation for the next round of mitosis. This is the time when they actually function, and that's the time when they make that preparation. The question is then, what makes them to divide? What are those factors in the cell that will tell the cell what to do? Fusions with cells in different stages of the cell cycle clearly showed that there are factors that help the cells to progress from G1 to S. And there are also cytoplasmic factors that help the cell to switch from G2 to mitosis and then divide. The point is that these are the two important components which are involved in regulation of the cell cycle. This control point is actually controlled by a so-called S-phase promoting factor, which is actually composed from cyclin D and cyclin-dependent kinase. Molecules that put phosphate groups on several different types of proteins in the cells on the way to divide. Then the one which controls this particular checkpoint in here is called MPF. This is the mitosis promoting factor. This mitosis promoting factor is also composed from a cyclin molecule and also from a cyclin-dependent kinase. So if you would like to see how this particular MPF, mitosis promoting factor, works, you should look at this slide. And it turns out that the activity goes high right on the onset of mitosis, and then it goes down, and it comes back again, and then it comes back again. The component of this is cyclin B, and its concentration changes in this sort of fashion. It shows some sort of cycling. The name was coined by Tim Hunt because he loved cycling those days. And since you like cycling, you know, it's obvious they will call the favorite baby as a cyclin. That's the way how the name originated. And there were also other scientists who decided to work along this line, and their contribution brought the Nobel Prize for Leland Hartwell, Tim Hunt, and Sir Paul Nurse. Tim Hunt was born in a city not too far away from Liverpool called Neston in February 1943. Then his family moved to Oxford in 1951. His father used to be an expert of ancient handwriting well before the 15th century when it all started. He also went to school in Oxford. This is the school that he attended, and lucky enough, to his luck I should say, he met a teacher who was interested in biology. So the motivation started right here. Then he went to a middle school, sort of, where he loved science as much as before, especially chemistry and zoology. Then in 1951, he went to Cambridge University and studied natural sciences. He continued living in Cambridge and joined the University of Cambridge Department of Biology in here. He earned his PhD at a very young age as compared to our Hungarian standard already in 1968. Then this was the time to leave home and see what the world is about. So he went to New York and joined the Albert Einstein College of Medicine in New York. It was also an interesting story to learn about Tim's CV, that he spent the night, the summertime, sometimes several weeks, at this Marine Biology Research Center in Woods Hole, Massachusetts. This is the place where he realized the existence of cyclings, and he also noticed that cyclings come and go along rolling the cell cycle. After finishing his PhD postdoc studies, he got back to the Cancer Research Institute in London, and his home is still London ever since. This is the place where he defined interesting sequences within the proteins which are essential for protein-protein interactions. In 1993, he published a book co-authored with Andrew Murray on the cell cycle, which is a sort of a standard book. Life changed a bit afterwards, in the sense that he earned the Fellow of the Royal Society in 1991. Then he became member of the US Academy of Sciences. Then he got the Nobel Prize in 2001, as I mentioned to you. 2006 was also an interesting year in his life, when he got knighted by the Queen, as is shown on this particular slide. And of course, she is not the Queen, and he is not Tim. I had no pictures on him getting knighted. After getting the Nobel Prize, and after all those years he spent in science, he became an advocate for scientific research. The take-home message of these sentences in here is that by doing science, you need to have a lot of fun, and you also need to be lucky here and there. He has got a great opinion on young scientists, and in fact, his group in this beautiful institute in London was not even a boss and sort of slaves, but also rather friends in their joint work. In 2012, we decided to show a little about Hungary. We decided to show all sorts of values which are around in this country. And we thought it would be a good idea to show him such treasures in Hungary. So we visited a bird-ringing site in Sándorfalva, right around the White Lake. And I'm pretty sure Tim still remembers the day when a kingfisher was hypnotized, and he kept it in his hand for a few minutes. Then in 2015, we decided to visit the workshop of Gisela Török. She was the one and only bulrush sculptor in Hungary. So she taught him how to weave bulrush, and this is it, and how to prepare all sorts of greasewood bulrush. Tim, you remember this, right? Then, to continue along this line, a day before yesterday, we visited Máté Bence's kingdom. Máté Bence is a world champion in nature photography for many, many years, where we sat down in one of his heights and watched great white egret, and also a black stork having sort of dinner. Yesterday, we visited another, Yesterday, we visited another wonderful, wonderful workshop. This belongs to Csaba Barkóczy, who is a European champion in taxidermy. Csaba was so very kind, he dissected a magpie in front of Tim, and I'm pretty sure, as you see, was also impressed on this occasion. Let me close by saying that in an interview, Tim told what you need to become a dedicated scientist. The first important point is that you should grow up in a caring, loving, and encouraging family. The second is that you need luck to meet good teachers. Then it's also important to emphasize that for successful scientific work, you need sort of an open scientific community where you exchange ideas freely, where you have also a lot of fun, cross-fertilize your brain and your ideas with knowledge of other scientists. It's also very important that you become an expert on your field. It's also important to publish in sort of trendy journals, to make your discoveries discovered all over the world. Tim also told in this interview that not all the experiments work. There are lots of experiments that fail, but those sort of failures should also teach you new things about life. You also need courage to pick on new things and carry on those. So in summary, by closing, let me show this slide to you, which is also an important message to you all. You do not need to be a genius, you just need to be good. Well, it's team times now. Thanks for coming, team, and we wait for your